Federal government shutdown now on its ninth day. Joining us now with the very latest, Sarah Bianchi, Evercore, ISI, public policy chief strategist. Is good to see you, Sarah, this morning. I think we agree on exactly how this is going to work. There will be some type of agreement about those Obamacare extensions. And it's not great. It's not perfect. The Democrats removed the cap on people all the way up to $500,000 to get these things. But that still doesn't mean it's not going to be a sticker shock if you don't at least do something with the extension. Because Obamacare, it doesn't work right. And these premiums are actually surging because you can't get health care for what Obamacare promised for those prices. So the Republicans are in a pickle.
Yeah, I mean, look, the growth in Obamacare over the past several years has really been in states that President Trump won: Texas, Georgia, Florida. These are huge enrollment issues. And sometimes, yeah, it's been for higher income people who actually really don't have great options in the individual market. So it's been helpful.
Anymore. Yeah.
Not anymore.
Not after Obamacare. That's the whole point, right? To me, it was like, this is the Schumer shutdown. It's very clear. It's a continuing resolution. Democrats have argued against using shutdowns to get what it's shut down right now because Democrats want to get what they want. And I don't know if they want NPR or 1.5 trillion, but they want this Obamacare subsidy.
And they definitely need to get that. Yeah, they definitely need to get that.
They're not gonna give, but Republicans think they're in a strong position too, I think. But wait till those increases hit, and it's going to be sticker shock, and the Republicans are going to fold, even though they probably shouldn't.
Well, I think they are going to fold. Those premium increases, people are going to start getting letters in the mail towards the end of the month. They're going to go on to their ACA, their health exchange, and see dramatic price increases. And it's throughout the income. And so this is not theoretical. This is not Medicaid, which doesn't start really in earnest for a couple of years. This is today. This is now. And I do think the White House is nervous about it. This is, a president who was elected to bring prices down. And look, you're right. The Democrats are happy. They feel they have finally found their sea legs on something. They're unified, directionally speaking, around it. Some of them want a whole lot more than just an Obamacare fix. So I think a handful of Democrats ultimately are going to peel off and vote with Thune for some basic continuing resolution with some promise that they're going to deal with this. But right now, I think the Democrats feel really good. They see Thune, warning the White House about layoffs. They see people talking about no back pay. They know this stuff is not popular, and so I think they feel good about where they are, and I don't think they're going to give until they get something on it.
Bad precedent. That means, shutting down the government in a temper tantrum to get what you want works.
Shutdowns are
Republicans
always...
are going to do it to Democrats next and say, look, you just did it, and we want this at, X, Y, Z. You wanted that, so now it's fair game to shut down the government.
Yeah, look, we have shutdowns, right? They're never really the right answer. I think this one, in a lot of ways, for right now, people aren't feeling the political pain. There's some pain around airlines. There's military pay coming up. But look, I think you're right. I think the Democrats are looking to rally their base a bit here. They are, fatigued. They are feeling down on their luck. They haven't had a message for at least 9 months, if not longer. And so they see this as an opportunity. But look, I think, and they feel unified around this. So I guess the White House feels good as well. We'll see. But this may take a little bit longer to resolve. But I do think, like you said, the path forward is fairly clear. They should resolve this.
I mean, we need to fix Obamacare somehow. I don't know how you do that, and I don't know. Politically, it's even more difficult, even if you did know how to do it. Politically, to get it done is even harder. But the Republicans had a chance, back before Obamacare to come up with something, and they didn't. And then they had a chance to do something, to repeal it. And I guess we had that thumbs up or thumbs down from McCain, and now we're stuck with it. And it's, what, 22 million people now? And
a
it's
lot of people enrolled.
Albatross with soaring premiums, getting other, private insurers to leave the market entirely. It's not set up right where you can get, sort of a bare minimum of care for a price. You got to have everything. When you're 30 years old, you got to pay for every single thing that can possibly happen to you, no matter how unlikely it is. So the prices are way too high. It really looks like it was a Trojan horse to get to single payer. And that's what's happening.
Well, I guess, look, we need to figure out how to bend the cost curve on healthcare in this country for all plans. This is not just an Obamacare issue. This is a real issue with hospitals and drug prices and new drugs coming on the market. There's a lot of issues. I think this population has certainly been one that hasn't found a place to buy a coverage in the market, and now a lot of people do. So for a lot of people in Texas and Georgia and Florida, this has been a really good thing. But you're right
because
to
it's
say
subsidized. It's a great thing because you're getting a quality of health care for a price that doesn't come close to covering what the health care costs.
I mean, most people in Obamacare are quite low income, and they're getting affordable health care, and it is subsidized. I think the challenge is, and you're right to say, look, Trump has had, he has all these ideas on trade and immigration. He hasn't really had ideas on Obamacare. He couldn't do it. He couldn't talk about it in the 24 debate. Right. They don't have their own solution. I think for sure in health care, we've got to figure out the rising health care costs. But that's true in my health care. That's true in your health care. Right. That's true in Obamacare. So I think for these
on things like pharmaceutical,
pharmaceutical
costs,
sure,
right? Those are the easier things to tackle.
We have to deal with things like pharmaceutical. There's a lot of hospital costs. It's an inefficient system for sure, but I think, look, 22 million people are finding relief, and again, a lot of these are people who, in their states, that don't have sufficient Medicaid expansion. So I'm not sure it's a slippery slope to single payer. I just think you are correct to say someone's got to figure out the cost here, and we can't just cover every GLP, and we can't cover every thing that comes down the pike, but I think, look, Republicans, they're in a pickle, the Republicans. It's a really interesting dynamic. The party has changed. They are now have lots of voters without a college education. Those are the people who are on Medicaid. I mean, some of their pollsters will tell you this. MAGA's on Medicaid, MAGA's on ACA. And so that puts Republicans in a new position that they have to figure out how to fix these people and fix these programs in a way that works for their base. And, right now the Democratic Party seems to be, the party of people with graduate degrees. So, so the Republican Party's got to solve this. And until they find their own way forward, I think these quick fixes and keeping things where they're at, it's going to be the only political viable solution.
So if you assume, okay, we have to subsidize it. We're going to have to do it. People need health care. We're going to have to subsidize it. With where we are with 37, 38 trillion and all the unfunded liabilities, you should get the very best system you can in terms of getting every bang for every buck that you subsidize. It should be the best, but not the worst system, which is what we kind of have now. It should be okay, we acknowledge we're going to subsidize it. We need to do it in a way that makes sense, and it's not being done right now.
I agree. Look, I wish that this
an economic reality.
It is an economic reality. I wish this is some of what DOGE had focused on, right? There's a lot of system improvements in Medicare and Medicaid you could do. There are people, there are misenrollment issues. But by and large, in this country, we have to figure out a way that every new, thing that comes on the market, what is efficient, what is working, what's not. And we can't just keep covering everything. I thought it was a mistake for the Biden administration to say Medicare should cover every GLP for everyone. I mean, you have to ask questions on costs, and you have to be efficient. But that's really where the focus should be, is figuring out how to again, keep these costs from rising out of control. And I think that that's where people should focus. And really, that's, you're right about the president and pharmaceuticals, but we need more of that.